Hello, Minder.
Hi.
How is you?
I am actually very tired. Like I got about four
Yeah.
hours of sleep, but that's par for the course. I just expect to sleep in. Tomorrow's Friday, so I hope to sleep on Friday night, basically.
There you go. Um. eh, Hi. If I sound real lispy, folks, I got braces on,
Yeah.
and I'm real happy about it. Most people are like, you crazy, right? Like you're gonna be in fucking pain. Like you understand this is not a fun experience because I'm so like happy go lucky about it. They're like, yeah, this is gonna hurt. Like you need to understand this is not like fun and games. And I was like, please don't steal my joy. I'm happy about this. I've had a jacked up grill for over 20 years. Leave me alone. Like,
It's
let
also
me.
it's also like you're not dumb. Like you know
Right,
braces aren't just like, oh yeah, we just like you just assume, oh yeah, just put some wires in your mouth and it'll be perfectly fine. It'll feel like
right,
cotton candy and rainbows. So
right. Like, obviously, I know there's gonna be some growing, literal, like, growing pains and shifting pains and all sorts of
like it's
things, and, like,
literally
it's gonna hurt
moving
my
the
lips
bones in
and
your mouth. So it's
correct?
mhm. Teeth
So
are just
it's,
exposed bones.
right. So if I'm a little lispy, that's why. Um, Hi, what you're listening to is the Neurodivergent Convergence podcast. My name is Nikki, and this is Aminder. Say hi, Aminder.
Hi, Minder.
And we are two neurodivergent best friends traveling the here I go. See, I'm gonna fuck it up because I don't know what to do with my lips. I'm not used to
Hmm.
something being in between my teeth and my lips. We are two neurodivergent best friends traveling the neuroverse together because we are living in a neurotypical world and we are not neurotypical girls. Amanda,
Yes, Nikki.
can you please tell the people what it is we are talking about today briefly? And then we have some housekeeping to go over before we start our show.
Uh, we're kind of going off of our last episode. Um, Basically, we're just kind of more diving into politics. And actually, it was funny. Nikki early asked me, we were trying to think of a topic, and she goes, "How you want to dive into politics?" I was like, "Like, do you have the brain power for that?" I'm like, "I always have the energy to make people mad." Um, so no matter how tired I am, I can make people mad very easily without very little effort.
Right, right.
So basically, we're just going to be talking about kind of like where we started, generally where we are now in terms of politics, political leanings, ideologies, that sort of thing. Because we both changed a lot um,
Yeah.
in our politics. So basically, that's we're kind of making this not like necessarily a series. We don't have any parts. We don't really have any plans as usual.
Right.
We're bad at plans, but we're basically just kind of like we might pick a topic at one point and just talk about that, like because we don't also fully agree on things either.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to discuss that sort of thing, but we're just going to start out right now with how like how we got to where we are. So
Yeah. And I would like to note, I think that this will be extra good for people to hear. Normally political shit gets heated and unnecessary, but because of Amanda and I's history, I think we've only ever gotten in one fight in which I was being very stupid about it. Um, over politics. And that was years and years and years ago. It was a little while after. I think I was pregnant with Noah at the time.
mhm.
So 9 years ago.
I don't even remember what it
Um,
was about. Like I'm
it
thinking of
was
like two
stupid.
separate instances, but I don't remember which is the one we got the most heated over.
I think it was the um what's the sniper guy?
Oh,
American Sniper?
Chris Kyle?
Chris
No.
Kyle, yeah. Um, there was a thread or something, and the comment, I think I misunderstood what you were trying to say, and the comment that you put over it, like, rubbed me the wrong way. It made me feel in the moment like you were, like, dissing on the military, like, it almost made it seem like like he deserved what he got. Like everyone's touting him as this hero and he deserved what he got. And it's like that pissed me off to a level I don't think I've ever been pissed off before, just because again, we're a military family and I was like, how dare you? But I really did just misunderstand you in that moment. It wasn't like a like you weren't actually trying to say that at all. I just misunderstood you. And I was probably also hormonal and insane, but
And
uh,
also reading text over something.
for sure, for sure. So you know, we can differ greatly in our viewpoints. I don't feel like we differ as much now as we used to, but like we can differ greatly in our viewpoints, but still love the shit out of each other and just respect each other enough to know that like you're entitled to believe what you want to believe and I'm entitled to believe what I want to believe. And as long as the other person isn't believing bigoted, harmful, terrible shit, we can still love each other and, you know, be around each other.
And
So
if one starts doing that, we call them out. We call
that's
the
right. Be
other
like,
we call the other
listen,
out. We're like,
Linda.
you're like, bitch, listen.
Yeah.
I need you to like just stop. Okay.
Right. So before we get too far down that rabbit hole, I do want to cover a few housekeeping things. Um, I think we've come to a preliminary decision on our T Public store. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For now, we're gonna suspend operations on our T Public store. We had sent. Sorry, I'm getting a spam call. Let me just cancel this. We had sent a thank you gift to Ray and Micah for all of their, work that they've done with the show and all the help they've given us. And the quality on the items that we sent them was not up to our standard. So we are going to suspend operations on our T Public store for now, and we are working on partnering with a different retailer. When that launches, we will let everybody know, and what that's going to be like, we will let everybody know in the future. But for right now, we are suspending operations on the merch store, unfortunately. There will be something else to come in the future. When we solidify everything, we'll let you know. Secondly, we have updated our I don't know, what do you want to say? Our what's the word I'm looking for? We've updated our formatting here. We are and also updated our Patreon. So what we have
Basically,
decided
just
to do,
changing things around, like what goes where.
yeah, we're doing some switcheroo at the moment. We have sort of been like our second year, we're really reevaluating like what is it we really want to do. First year was kind of like a fuck it experiment. Like we were just trying to figure out like what it is we were even doing here.
A lot of trial and error.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error. But I feel like we've sort of landed in a place where we feel like we can make some pretty confident decisions. Um, we have decided to make all of year two's video format Patreon exclusive. So it as far as our episodes go. So like when you're listening on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts, if you want to watch the show before, you could go to YouTube. As of right now, all of year one's videos are still on YouTube. As of right now, that's the plan to stay that way. If that changes, we'll let you know. But all of year two video format will be exclusive to Patreon, and that is at every tier. So there is no one excluded. No paid tier is excluded from the video format. So that's available at $3, $5, or $10. So from now on, if you want to see our beautiful mugs, you got to subscribe to the Patreon. Okay. Our YouTube channel, we would like to maybe convert to more of a gaming channel, or whatever other future content that has nothing to really do with the show, um, that we might do. And just kind of reserve that for our gaming sessions. Amanda's finally got her computer up and running. So we were kind of waiting on that and just kind of waiting for life to chill out a little bit. And then we're going to start up some gaming content here before too long. We'll make announcements on our Facebook and everything. But just to let you all know, YouTube is going to be looking a little different in the future. And video only is now Patreon exclusive. This podcast will always be free to listen to. That's never going to change. We are never going to put this whole entire thing behind a paywall. But as far as video formatting goes, you got to go to Patreon.
Except
Um,
for we did decide to switch the basically the pre-YouTube audio episodes that we have that I set
mhm.
to gameplay. Those are going to be free, available on Patreon and YouTube.
Yes. So if you want to still see the episode gameplay, like she said, the pre-YouTube era, that is available. We do have a free tier, a public setting on our Patreon now where you can view those videos, and then those will stay on YouTube as well.
So there'll be 25 episodes. Right now, I have 10 uploaded. I think I have 2 right now that are public. I'm just basically going to release every few days, like make, because right now I have 10. I had 10 uploaded that were unlisted. And so every few days I'm going to basically make them that way. I'm just not bombarding the subscribers with
Yeah.
like video. So like every few days, release another video. And also that way it's just easier for me to make shorts because because unless a video is public, you can't remix a short from like an hard created video. You
Yeah.
have to like upload it. Like I had to go back into the editing program and edit the clip and get it out myself, and it's just whatever. And I'm also not very good at making shorts. I don't know how people do constant captions and everything, and make them look nice. I did 1 line worth of captions, and it was a pain in the ass. So basically, just gonna make those sort of things public. I do have episodes 11 and 12 done and edited. They just need to be uploaded. Basically, I'm just waiting for my my data cap to reset after this weekend. And then I'll be editing episodes 13 through 25 and just uploading them every few days. So other like basically the every few days of releasing what's already posted is partly because I need time to finish editing all the other ones.
Right. And she's working very hard on that, and I appreciate it. Also, if you are watching this episode on Patreon this week, those are the video episodes will drop Mondays for it's the $5 and $10 tier, right? Listen on
Um,
Mondays. Yeah, 5 and
yeah.
10. So if you want to watch the show at the beginning of the week instead of waiting until Thursday, head on over to Patreon at the $5 or $10 tier. You can watch those episodes on Mondays. I forgot last week. Sorry. But this week I shall remember. I shall put it in my phone. And if you are watching and see me in the bed, I am having a tiny flare up right now of my many conditions. So I do not have the energy to sit in the chair and record. So if I sound, among the braces and the lisp, I might sound a little weird with my audio. I do have my mic and I'm holding it, but that's what's going on. I'm recording from bed right now. So I think all the housekeeping things are covered now.
Yeah, I think we can probably get to the fun.
Yeah. So like we do every week here, folks, we have a sandwich, a content sandwich, if you will. We have the fun, which is the first cookie or piece of bread, whichever kind of sandwich you would like. Then we have the creamy/juicy middle goodness, which is the content. And then we have the fuckery at the end, which is the Jeremy story and any other nonsensical things that we save for the people who actually listen all the way through the episodes. So if you want like Easter eggs and things like that and just content that's a little funnier, and then also Jeremy, if you give a shit about Jeremy, he's at the end of the episode. So let's get started. We're going to do our Mad Lib. Excuse me while I rustle around and get my pen open here because Amanda is giving me words today. And this is going to be interesting to try to hold this mic and do this at the same time without pressing keys on my keyboard. Okay. Miss Ma'am, are you ready to give me words?
Yes.
Okay. I need a color, please.
Verdant or verdant.
Oh. I'm assuming that's a green?
Yeah, it's actually what's funny. I was reading a story I think yesterday, and I knew it was my turn to pick words for next time. and they described the person with like a person with green eyes as with their verdant eyes. Like, so I don't know if it's verdant or
Ooh.
verdant. I've never heard the word said out loud.
I think it's
And so,
verdant.
yeah, verdant. And I'm like, oh, I hope if I, it's like maybe if I, next time I have a color in my Mad Lib, I'll use that. And that was the very first one. So I was pretty excited.
Cute. Okay, I need a verb now, please.
Smite.
Smite. So smote thee. That's
Smote
the
thee.
past
Smote?
tense.
Smoted?
Smote? Smoted? What does that say? A person in room, female.
Velvet.
Vel. Oh, wow. That's not how you spell that. Velvet. Okay. Verb ending in ing. Do we already know what it is?
No, that's coming up later.
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
engorging.
Blech. Okay.
Oh,
Told you I was gonna be hitting buttons. Noun.
pickle.
Pickle. Fucking love pickles, man. Number.
She's the pickle eater to my non-pickle eater.
Mm-hmm.
Number 815. My birthday.
Oh, I love it. Adjective, please.
Animalistic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it gets really weird at this time. So I was eating
Okay.
pizza while I was thinking of these.
I'm sorry. I don't want to know why you thought about animalistic while you were eating pizza.
I don't know. I was eating pizza and scrolling through Facebook, and so I didn't really see the word animalistic anywhere. It just like popped into my head.
Mm.
So it's kind of like how you shouldn't eat certain foods before bed. I guess I shouldn't eat certain foods while thinking of Mad Lib words.
Oh
Okay,
my god. I have no room to talk after what I sent you earlier.
that's true.
Maybe we should play it for the people later.
Maybe in the fuckery portion.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, noun.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Okay. Of the.
Yeah, I kind of did longer ones. I didn't realize
moon.
you're gonna be laying in bed holding a mic.
It's okay. I didn't realize it either until about an hour before we were about to do this. Verb.
Spontaneously combust.
Spontaneously combust. Okay. Is this where we do fucking verb ending in
Mm-hmm.
ing?
Yep, fucking.
That's perfect. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. That is literally exactly where it needs to go. Noun.
2005 Ford F-150. I
I
actually had to look up. I,
don't.
I thought of like a. I was trying to think of a car, and I was like, oh, Kia Sorento was like the very first car, but I'm like, I don't know that much about Kia Sorentos. I'm like Ford F-150. Did Ford F-150 have a version in 2005? So I looked it up. Yes, they did. I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
anything about cars. So
Noun.
Tornado, not tornado. Tornado.
Tornado.
Der.
And noun.
Llama.
Oh, that's gonna be something I'm gonna say now. Noun.
Chia pet, because I have one sitting on my counter.
Chia.
Chia.
Does anybody else remember that fucking commercial?
I think most millennials and Gen X's.
Good. Part of the body.
Clavicle.
Oh, ew. Okay, that's gonna be gross to say. Verb. Post haste. Past tense.
Blown.
These years are always so good. Okay. Plural noun.
Mines of Moria.
Mines of Moria. And lastly, ma'am, a noun.
DVD box set of Friends.
Okay.
She sounds so
Okay.
enthused.
No, I was just trying to focus and not click on my mouse, my trackpad. Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
Yes. C.
This one is called The Black Sheep. We're still in our I have mine
Yeah.
clipped. Do you want to show them? We're still in our adult Mad Lib,
Yep.
my bleeping family.
Sorry,
All
my
right,
thing
here
is
we go.
moving, but there you go.
Are you the verdant sheep in your family like I am? Then you know how it feels to have everyone smite up against you and then have the nerve to call you greedy Aunt Velvet when they think you aren't engorging attention. Well, duh, I sure do have a pickle in my bonnet if you're talking trash about me.
Don't have such a pickle in your bonnet. I want to.
Okay, so I once borrowed $815,000 from my animalistic mother and didn't pay her back. When she kicked the dark side of the moon, when she kicked the dark side of the moon, what?
Like when she kicked the bucket, there's what they're saying. Like when she
Okay,
kicked.
when she kicked the dark side of the moon, may she spontaneously combust in peace. My parents. Oh, I get what they're doing there. I get what they're doing. Okay, may she spontaneously combust in peace.
Mhm.
My parents deducted the amount from my inheritance. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me? Grandma would roll over in her 2005 Ford F-150 if she knew what you did."
Grandma would die.
Oh shit. Then they called me a klepto tornator and a llama lifter
That, that's like
because
that sounds like the I forgot what commercial it was. Um, who you calling Cootie Queen? You like
lint liquor.
yeah, liquor, a llama lifter. That's what it reminds me of.
I love it. I think it was an Orbit commercial. Dirty mouth, clean it up
Yeah.
with Orbit gum. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I also happen to have her pearl chia pet and matching clavicle rings.
Ew.
I know. See why I said ew? But I swear Grandma gave them to me. Well, I know she would have if she hadn't blown her marbles before then.
Oh no.
Jesus Christ. She loved me to bits, and Mines of Moria and would have what? And Mines of Moria and would have wanted me to have them.
It's trying to say she led me to bits and pieces and would have want me to have them. Is what's trying
Oh,
to.
I get it. Okay. Sorry, I'm not processing. Now, whenever I see my family, they watch me like a DVD box set of Friends. Life's so unfair. Am I right? That one was good.
And I don't know why.
Are you
Like
fucking kidding me?
at first I was gonna put season 3 of Friends, but then I was like, no, DVD box set sounds more like a noun, and I don't even know why it came in my head. Scott, that's Scott's favorite show,
Yeah.
and he's very dismayed that I've never seen a full episode of Friends. So
Oh, big yawn. Okay, yawn counter one. Here we go. Here she is.
there she
Okay.
blows.
There she blows. Okay, okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Julie, do the thing!
I'm afraid there are no more things to do.
I had to do it.
I love it.
Julie, do the thing.
Julie, do the thing.
Okay. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I can start. So basically, trying to get where we came from um in terms of political beliefs. So I started off like fairly conservative. It's more like I was a kid slash teenager and I was just conservative because my parents were conservative. They're not like ultra conservative, but they do vote Republican every time. Though my dad is more prone to voting just however he feels and not just voting for someone that has an R after their name. So like say like in the 2008 election was the first election I could vote in. Voted for McCain because like I said I was just graduated high school, so I still had the beliefs of my parents. So voted for McCain. Then the second term, but that was the year Obama won. In case anyone, obviously you're not from the U.S., but so that was 2008. Obama won. I voted for McCain, and then the second term 2012, I didn't vote for anyone. It was Obama versus Romney. Obama won second term, and I didn't vote for anyone because I was getting more and more away from like conservative politics and just kind of leaning, not necessarily leaning more progressive, but just more like, I guess, independent, you could say. And yes, this was when I was in college, and my mom likes to tell me, or likes to say, that college, she doesn't use the word brainwashed, but she does say like basically college turned me into a liberal. I'm like, oh, you mean the college that you wanted me to go to, that college? um and so I'd also like to point out that none of my professors talked about politics. I think I had one class where the professor actually gave his political opinion, and it was an environmental sciences class or environmental studies. Like, what do you think the professor's going to lean in a class about saving the environment? So there you go. But so just kind of, mine took a while. And it's so embarrassing when I see these Facebook memories, and even like up to like 2013, 2014, I was still posting like cringy shit that like leaned conservative. And I'm not saying like all conservative stuff is cringy, but basically the type of shit like I was posting was. And it wasn't like overt or anything, but it was definitely more of, oh dear sweet early 20s Amanda. How little you knew about the world. So I don't even know like how I got to this point. Like there wasn't like an on-off switch. There wasn't like I just went conservative, progressive, like Republican, Democrat. Nothing like that. It was very slow process from say 2008 until like probably 2015 is probably when that's when I probably was more liberal in my views at that point. How about you?
Yeah, so I feel like for the longest time, I didn't really care. Still kind of don't at certain points, but like I think the first time I really remember paying attention to an election was the Obama McCain one. Um where technically I could have voted, but I sure did not. Um I just never really felt and still don't feel educated enough to be exercising the right to put in a vote to elect a president when I don't know who it is I'm voting for or why. Um, so I know that everyone like throws a fit and it's like you should vote if you have the right to vote. And it's like, well, I didn't vote because my vote is not educated. I'd much rather just not vote than vote for the wrong person and be part of the reason that a bad leader gets elected. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So that was my
So,
logic on that.
so have you ever voted?
Yes. The first election I ever voted in was the Hillary Trump election. So it took me a very long time to vote. Which what year was that again? I can't remember.
2016.
Yeah, 2016. So yeah, I didn't vote for a very long time. I just didn't feel educated enough to do so. So anyone who wants to roast me over the Spitfire for that, go for it. I don't care. Um, it's your right to vote. It's also my right to not if I don't want to. So, um, I'm not proud of it. I should have been more educated, but I just was not and just couldn't care. Um, I care a lot more now than I used to, but um in that first election I voted in at the time, I was incredibly conservative. So I'm pretty sure we all know who I voted for. I did not particularly, though, I did not particularly love him um, as a person. And I definitely did not love some of the things that were coming out about him. As a woman, can't really respect someone who speaks like that. But I definitely didn't want her. So I really voted against her, not necessarily for him, but I
That was
still
the same
voted
with
for him.
that was the same with me. I voted for Hillary, but it's also like all the stuff that comes out about Hillary. Like, do I think she's a corrupt person? Yes, she's a
Yeah,
politician. So
right,
it's more of like my thought process was if I wanted, okay, so like I said, like you, I didn't necessarily vote for her. I just voted against him
right,
because he's like the type of person that made me so angry that I just couldn't fathom people like, and it's not necessarily him, it's the fact that people worship him
yeah,
that bugs the fuck out of me. Like all the merchandise that he has, like the flags, the caps, the shirts, the whatever.
right,
It's a cult basically.
right.
And I'm sure I lost some of you, but it's a cult. I'm sorry.
It
It's
turned into
fine
a
to like,
movement.
yeah, it's fine to like vote for a politician and like in the fact. So before I get off topic, so it's like I said, voted more against him than voted for her, which I know is not really a good stance to take, but it's also like to me, do I want the corrupt brain surgeon do my surgery on my brain, or do I want the bigoted, bumbling janitor of the hospital to do my brain surgery? That
Right,
was how I viewed them. Like, yes, I'm not saying she's absolutely intelligent, whatever. She's just very smart.
right.
But, and I'm not saying he's absolutely stupid. He just
You just
sounds
felt she
stupid.
was more qualified.
She was more qualified.
Yeah,
And so
to do the
that was
specific
my thought
job.
process too. Yeah,
And
that was my
see,
thought process too.
interestingly enough, my thought process was like, again, not as educated as I should have been even that time when I voted, but my thought process was, do we want old corruption or do we want new but controversial? And I was like, I feel like because again, wasn't well educated enough, didn't really know how terrible things were. I had heard a few things, but I wasn't like I was scouring over the news. I didn't watch every debate. Like my thought was, well, maybe since our country is in such financial shit right now, like maybe a businessman could fix it. Again, like I said, uneducated, but that
Especially
was just
since
my
he's
thought
declared
process.
bankruptcy multiple times.
Right.
How do you declare how do you financially lose a casino? The house always wins, and yet he fucked up owning a
Because it
casino.
wasn't well managed. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like he half-assed a lot of things instead of whole-assing one thing. And I feel like lots of businesses do experience bankruptcy. I think he just experienced not defending him. Okay, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that that particular stat doesn't bother me as much because they were business bankruptcies, not personal bankruptcies, and I think a lot of times he had signed his name to things and think he could do it and then couldn't, so he'd just bail out. Now, is that right to do? Absolutely not. Should he be starting businesses he can't follow through with? Absolutely not. Is it right to continuously file bankruptcy on businesses that you keep failing at because you're not putting the time, energy, and effort into actually making it successful because you have too many irons in the fire? Absolutely not. But like, I think that fact bothered me less
Hmm.
than at the time, and I think it probably still bothers me less than some of the other shit that we now know. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right. And
I do get your
so,
point. I get your point, and I'm not trying to argue you down on that. It's just I tend to, I guess, take a slightly more neutral opinion on that specific note. Anyway,
hmm and what I find funny is the whole, and like you, I don't watch a whole lot of news. Like I get a lot of my news like from Scott. Like he'll share something, I'll
hmm
see some, like I'll scrolling through Facebook or whatever. And also, I would like to point out my mom thinks that like Facebook itself is a news source because whenever I give an opinion, my mom, even though I'm in my 30s, I'll be in exactly my mid 30s in a few months. my mom thinks that apparently I'm too naive or dumb or whatever to have my own opinion. I get all my opinions from somewhere else, as if she doesn't get her opinions from Newsmax and Fox News.
Right.
So, and OAN. But, so, like, I'll read something, because I told her, I'm like, well, Facebook's not there's no, like, reporters at Facebook. It's, you can share whatever you want, within reasons. And
Right.
so you can share whatever you want on Facebook. Like, I can find all conservative stuff on Facebook if I wanted, all independent, all liberal, all whatever.
For sure.
And
The
so,
algorithm's gonna feed you what you want. It's a feedback loop.
right. And so I don't watch, I was more paying attention, more educated. Like, I actually knew who held different positions that I probably couldn't name a single person now, like certain cabinet members I couldn't name. But it's also because our country was in such a state of fuckery
Mm-hmm.
from 2016 on. Like, I felt like I had to pay attention because I felt, granted, luckily, Trump is the bumbling idiot that he is, that not as much got done that conservatives said would get done, like the whole building the wall, making Mexico pay for it. We're going to get rid of LGBT rights and, all this other stuff. We're going to ban Muslims from the country, all this stuff that Trump
Yeah.
said, right? And so, so it's, to me, it's like, that was like, okay, I have to pay attention, because otherwise I feel like if I don't, like, and I understand, like, I'm not begrudging people that don't necessarily pay attention, that don't want to hear the news, because yes, it sucks. Like, hearing all the bad in the world, it sucks. It gets depressing. But I felt like, as someone who, as like a white woman who is pretty privileged, I felt like it was my duty to, like, pay attention, because I didn't want to be the person of, well, I don't want to have to pay, like, it doesn't, like, nothing ever, like, applies to me, so I don't
Right.
need to pay attention.
Right.
So I didn't want to get into that. So that was my thing. And actually, I, like, in the 2016, like, in the primaries, I voted for Bernie Sanders. I was the millennial that voted for Bernie Sanders, and so I voted for Bernie Sanders because I thought he was more genuine than Hillary. Um, and then I voted for Hillary, and then I made some people, like, I had a friend who was all for Hillary, and I remember I commented on one of his posts where I said something like, I can't remember what the post was about, but I said, yeah, I voted for her. I just, kind of did it, like, while holding my nose, type of thing, because it's
Right.
like, I voted for her, but I didn't want to. And so I remember I made someone so mad. They're like, how dare, like, because she, I guess, also was a huge Hillary supporter, and
Right.
and she, like, was ultimately offended that and then even my friend was like, what the fuck is your problem? She said she voted for her. I don't understand. Like, she doesn't have to, like, you can vote for
Like,
someone,
what
not
are you
like
mad?
them. Like,
Right.
why are
Like,
you
why are
mad?
you mad, bro?
Yeah, why are you mad? And so now it's because, like, yes, shit still sucks, and that's, like, yeah, partly Biden's fault. And I voted for Biden, and it's not because I wanted to vote for Biden. I was, and I just find it so funny. Everyone calls Biden this old man. They're like 3 years apart in age. Biden is like 3 or 4 years older than Trump, but they're acting like Trump is some, like, 50-year-old and Biden's 90. And so I never understood
Right.
that. They're like 3 or 4 years apart in age. And so, like, I voted for Biden. Like I said, it's a whole, I liked him more than Hillary. Like, he just seems good old Grandpa Joe. He just seems nicer than Hillary. But it was another case of, I just didn't want Trump. Right.
Right.
And so I I have become less in tune with what's going on, but it's also because, like, I feel like I have to worry less.
Mhm.
And yes, I know, like, the financial situation sucks, but that's also because COVID happened. I don't understand why people don't think 2020 happened sometimes. They're like, look at all this, look at all this stuff that's happening because of Biden. It's like, also, it might be because we were in a pandemic for several years and a bunch of businesses shut down and just everything went wrong. And so that's basically, like now I feel like I don't have to worry about rights being taken away from certain
Right.
groups of people, so I don't have to pay attention as much. That's my kind of like viewpoint right now. It's like I don't like Scott will share something with me and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't hear of this," or "Oh, yeah, okay." And then I was more paying attention when Trump was in office because I felt like I had to. Because
Yeah.
every day, like I can go weeks now without thinking about who the president is. Like I know who the president is, but I can go weeks without thinking about Biden. I was thinking about Trump every single fucking day because every single fucking day he was saying something else so stupid. And
Yeah.
ugh, but
This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I do feel like had he kept his flapper closed, he probably would have been reelected. Um, but I think because he just was so ego inflated that he could not keep his fucking mouth shut, that's what dug his hole. That's what
mhm.
dug him a hole, ultimately. I think
No, I don't think you're wrong. Like
I think
he lost by like what 7 million, 8 million votes, whatever it
Mhm.
was. He lost the popular vote twice.
Right.
But we can get into like electoral college and my feelings on that another time. But
Yeah. I
but
still struggle to quite understand all of that, so maybe that'll be a good lesson for me. Like, I get it, but I don't at the same time.
it's
Um,
stupid, is what it is. Like every other election has a popular vote, and whoever wins the most votes wins the election, but not the most important one, which is the presidential election. Like you don't vote for a senator, and it's like, well, this senator got a million more votes than this other senator, but because this other senator, all his counties are in rural areas, his votes count more. So this person's vote counts 3 times as much as this other person's vote. So we're gonna let him win the election. See, that's stupid.
right.
That's fucking stupid. But
Yeah, I
anyway.
agree. Um, I yeah, I just think had he kept his mouth shut, we'd be in his second term. Um, Again, I don't stay apprised of every single thing he did while he was in office. Um, Therefore, I don't really feel educated to comment on, um, whether or not there was any good that came from his presidency. I do feel like each presidency does have some good and some bad, right? Like, sometimes more damage is done in the guise or even in the best intentions of trying to make change in a positive way, but, like, I I just feel like I don't wanna turn this into the Trump show, but, like, I feel like had he been able to focus on actually following through with realistic promises and actually looking at the financial status of this country and working to make changes on that, working with people to figure out how to fix some of these massive holes we have in our spending, working through some waste, fraud, and abuse issues. Like, there's plenty of on all facets of all funding. But, like, I just feel like had he been able to put his head down and really put his energy into all that talk into, like, action, right? He'd
Mm-hmm.
still be president, and I think the country would be in a better place, but I think he was more interested in the shock value of his words than the actual follow through, which is no different than most other fucking politicians, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, I get it. So in terms of like where we are now, I mean, if it's obvious, and like maybe if you've listened for a while, like I'm I'd say like I'm like a fair to middling liberal. Like I'm not like super ultra anarchist or anything,
right.
and I'm also not the type of well like the whole big government thing. Like not saying all liberals are like that, but I know like more extreme liberals are like, just let the government take care of it. No. But and so in terms of like now, I guess like so obviously I'm pro marriage equality. Like I also want it to be easier for like immigrants to become citizens, because back in the day, even my own ancestors, oh, you arrived on a boat. Do you have tuberculosis or typhoid? All right, you're in.
Mm,
Congratulations, you're an American. Good
right,
job. Now it's like takes years, thousands of dollars, and so and the whole all these illegal immigrants, when they mean Hispanic people. Like they don't
right.
really care about illegal immigrants from Europe, I've noticed. And there's thousands or hundreds of thousands of those. And so the whole like, oh, they're all crossing the border, but it's also like, okay, but I don't know the numbers. I'd have to look it up. But like a lot of people that are over here illegally over these imaginary borders that we've created as a society, um, they basically just overstayed their visas. They came here legally, had a visa, and then just stayed. And so I think like immigration should be easier, like citizenship should be easier to obtain. It shouldn't I should at most take like a year. Like,
Yeah,
at most take a year. Um and so like I said, so pro like that. I'm also like I would like to see better like a more like universal health care. I understand there's drawbacks to that. There's drawbacks to everything right now. Even with insurance, shit costs a lot. Like you're paying like some people pay $100 a month per month in insurance, and then still having to fork over like, oh, you gave birth, that'll be $50,000. Have fun paying that off until your kid's 18. And
right.
so college should be more affordable. Like back in the day, you could get I'm not saying like college necessarily free. I don't think like we could sustain that. I mean, if we didn't spend $300 million per jet plane, and I'm sorry, I know you're in the military, like military family, but
No,
if you
you'd
didn't
be
spend,
surprised on my opinion on that.
yeah, like I literally just tangent. I literally watched a video yesterday. It was like top 10 in most infamous tornadoes, like EF5 or F5 tornadoes in the US.
Mhm.
And I can't remember which one this was, but one of them was going towards a military base, and it almost hit the airfield where all these planes were, parked. And each plane, and this was back in like, I want to say it was the early 90s, or sorry, late 90s is when this happened. And each plane was worth $280 million, and each plane had nuclear warheads on them, which thank God the tornado didn't hit that. Like it just swerved around it. But it's also like, okay, 280 million for a fucking plane. It's like, you
Mhm.
know how much healthcare and how much college that could pay for?
Right.
So it's like we have an overinflated defense budget. We don't need to play, and my other opinions, like we don't need to play the world's big brother, the world police. I don't think we should do that. I'm not necessarily saying we should just leave other countries the fuck alone. Like it's the whole, if other countries are like, if there's strife and we can help, we should help. But it's also like there's some places we don't need to be there. We like certain, and this is all through history. Like even like in the 70s, I think like I'd have to read up on it. Like I read up on it again, but like Afghanistan vastly changed because we helped input a leader, I think they got rid of the Shah. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm very fuzzy on the details. They got rid of the Shah, input their own leader that they wanted in the 70s, and then so Afghanistan went from a fairly not super liberal, but women could wear regular clothes, to what it is now, because the U.S. had to intervene and put their little fingers in every piece of the pie. So I just feel like the whole world police thing bugs the shit out of me. So, but like I said, I'm not like ultra liberal the thing. Like, yes, I feel like universal health care, but I feel like having the government completely take over it is not a good idea. Um, I just feel basically I feel like most of our problems could be solved if they just got their shit together and was like, okay, we got to figure out a better budget, a better way to like divide the pie, a better way to allocate funds to different things, and basically invest it in the citizens and not other shit. And also the fact that these politicians can vote on their own bonuses, um, on their own like income, all that other stuff. I feel like there should be term limits, but that'll never happen because the politicians are the ones that decide this shit. I feel like there should be an age limit for politicians. Like, if you are not going to be alive long enough for your policies to be enacted, say in like the next 10 years, maybe you shouldn't be around. Like, your policies that you are forcing on people that you will be dead before it takes effect. Maybe I feel like there should be a retirement age. Like, maybe not necessarily like the national retirement age. I'll say 70. 70 should be the limit for politicians. So that eliminate Biden, but it also eliminate Hillary and Trump and all the other ones. So what about you?
Yeah, I'm actually in agreement with you, shockingly, on 99% of all of that. Um, I I'm very much a two things can be true at the same time person.
That's the same for me, and not to interrupt, but like that's the same for me. Like the whole, well, how can you care about refugees when we have homeless vets? It's like I can care about both
About both,
things.
right?
So that sort of logic.
Yeah. I don't want to delve too deeply into any of those topics because I feel like each of those things you mentioned could definitely be its own episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but personally, what I would like to see happen, well, let me back up. My political affiliation falls in no one's camp. Like I think I mentioned this last week. Um, I don't choose a side, and that usually pisses people off. I do tend to fall more.
I think you're
I
like
don't know.
left of center. I feel like your left is like I
Yeah,
would call myself a liberal, but I wouldn't call myself a Democrat. Like, I vote Democrat
right,
because there's no other like, and even like to the rest of the world, like Europe is probably like laughing at us. They're like, haha, even your Democrats are right, like, on like right wing on our country. It's like, I
right,
know, like our Democrats and Republicans are just two sides of the same coin. But so
right,
it's like I don't necessarily identify as Democrat. I just vote Democrat because I really have no other choice. So
right. I believe that our government should be utilized differently. Not necessarily that it should be smaller or larger, but that it should be utilized differently than it's currently being utilized, more like you said, like split the pie a little differently. Like can we share the wealth a little bit? My own husband will tell you that there's plenty of things that could be, done with the defense budget that are currently done with the defense budget that could probably be adjusted. And personally, I would like to see, not just because it's going to benefit me, but because I've spent a lot of time, I've been with this man for his entire half of his entire military career, and I've seen a lot of shit, and a lot of families struggle. I think these people need to be fucking paid more. I think, if anything, if you're spending that kind of money, it should be on technology to keep them safe, on making their families financially sound. Um,
and also like
and I think,
veterans when they come home, like mental health care in this
yeah,
country absolutely sucks. So I think
yes, it
like,
does.
and so like I think
Beefing
more of
up
the
the
defense budget,
VA and making it not a fucking joke would be nice.
like even if they could not bear to think of parting anything, like taking anything away from the defense budget,
Right,
like it's like, okay, just maybe buy 10 or build 10 less planes,
right.
because that's $3 billion, depending on the plane. That's
Mhm.
$3 billion that you can then invest towards your current military,
Right.
your veterans. Like, there are so many homeless vets, and
That shouldn't be a thing.
yeah, and
It
so
just
like
shouldn't be a
I'm not
thing.
like, and so like there's basically you need to focus more on the people that are in the military and not the toys. Okay? Like I
Right.
understand like the toys, like the weapons, the whatever, the gadgets, they're all necessary for certain things, but
Yeah.
I just
There
feel
needs
like
to be
when
more
you
of
have
the
we have parking lots and airfields full of planes that have never been flown.
Yep.
Like why?
Yeah.
Why?
But there are military bases that are literally riddled with fucking mold that no one will fix.
Mhm.
And the housing situation on some of these bases, branch wide, not just army, but like all across all branches, is absolutely fucking atrocious. Um, but there's planes, like you said, parked in parking lots that have literally never been flown, but cost, you know, $100+ million to manufacture. It's like, could you not have taken that $100+ million and upgraded your fucking living facilities for the people who have to fly those fucking planes? Like,
Right.
people who are gonna might possibly risk their life in one of those fucking planes? Like, it doesn't make a lot of there's not I think overall, I would like to see a humanitarian approach to our country taken more seriously. We're getting a little off track. I'm losing my train of thought. It's hard enough to, like,
We
focus,
can
but,
wrap up
like,
here soon, but basically you're like
yeah.
going around like making it more humanitarian.
Yeah, I would like to see m better use of social programming for individuals who genuinely need it. Um, I don't think welfare in general is a bad thing, but I think it definitely needs to be reimagined in some way.
And
I
that
think
could be
we
another topic
need
too, because it's like I have thoughts about like welfare and
Oh,
food stamps and all
same.
that.
Um, I feel like I agree with you on the immigration thing. I feel like it needs to be a hell of a lot easier to get here legally, and I think we would have a lot less illegal immigrants. However, this is where I differ on a lot of things. I do feel like border security is important. Um,
I'm not saying like people should just be able to like traipse. Like I said,
right,
to me, like when I say like the whole borders that we made up, it's like we live in a society that we have borders, and so we kind of just have to
right,
live with that. Um, and so like these imaginary lines on maps. So my thing is that maybe when you see a family with children and stuff trying to cross the border, maybe don't throw them in cages.
right.
And
I agree.
that's all Biden's done it, Obama's done it, Trump's done it. So
Yeah,
it's not like a politician.
it's not handled well. It's not handled
No,
correctly. But it is an important thing. It's not being done correctly. There's so many things that are necessary that I feel like are being incredibly mishandled. Um,
they just need a bunch of autistic people to be like, listen,
right.
we're good at the logic, okay? We can
I
figure this
think
out.
logic and compassion are missing from our government as a whole, and I think that maybe if there, like you said, term limits on things and an age cutoff for fucking sure. Um, whether anyone likes it or not, you do have cognitive decline as you age. It's
Right.
natural, it's normal. Um, it is fucking sad watching our current president continue to speak, knowing, like, seeing some of the other the shit that he has said. People laugh at and think it's funny, and sometimes it is, but, like, to me, it's just fucking sad to watch.
It's
Like,
also
it's
like
like
that
watching my grandpa actively fucking deteriorate in front of my eyes. It's not cute.
it's it's partly that and also because of the stutter. Like people just make fun of how he talks. It's like, okay,
Right.
it's like, and I'm not saying like everything he does, like everything he says is because of the stutter. I do understand that. Yes, like I said, Biden's fucking old. Like he's like
Yeah,
83, something like that. Like he's fucking old.
right.
Like I'm not
That's
saying
my point.
like I'm not saying like I said, it's like voting for grandpa and
Yeah,
like voting for like Trump is like, like Trump also wants to like be like, oh well, not the whataboutism, but the whole like Trump said some batshit crazy
for
things as
sure.
well. And so it's like there should be like a limit. Like if there is a retirement age for the regular citizen, there should be a retirement age for politicians, but they won't vote on that because that's how they make their money. They just
Right, and
they work like 4 out of the year, and so making
it's
hundreds
so
of thousands of
financially
dollars.
focused, and everyone's out to they've turned politics into a game and
into a money-making scheme for
into a
themselves.
making scheme, and they've forgotten what they were put in place to fucking do to start with. And I think that's where a lot of these people who become radicalized, I think that's kind of their rationale. However, they're also going about it in the wrong goddamn way. They're seeing the decline, and they're seeing the corruption, and they're seeing these people not caring about their constituents like they're sworn in to do, and all of these things. And they don't feel like it's ever going to change. So then they do radical, crazy things. Doesn't make it right. I don't fucking condone it. But I think if we could stop for a second and look at what is fucking playing out in front of us and
Stop,
really
collaborate, and
understand.
listen.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, absolutely. It's not good. None of it's good. On either side of the fucking aisle, on either side of the fucking political spectrum, these people do not give a fuck about us. They don't. And until we can start getting some new faces in here and really start paying attention to these fucking people and making our own educated decisions, we cannot possibly have a fucking hope for the future. Like, we've got to get these people the fuck out of here that are not doing their jobs, and we've got to fucking change the trajectory of what's going on here. For whatever fucking side of the aisle you want to vote for, you need to stand for something or you're going to fall for anything, and I believe that. Like, I think one of my biggest things that could be technically considered as a conservative leaning um viewpoint would be gun ownership. I do believe in the Second Amendment. I do. I am a legal gun owner. So is my husband. He is very trained on how to use every weapon in this house. I am not, I don't carry a weapon because I am not yet comfortable with my firearm. We teach our children about firearm safety starting with their Nerf guns. And Nicholas requested this like gun that's technically a Nerf gun, but it looks a whole fucking lot like a real gun, and it loads like a real gun and ejects like a real gun. And we told him no, because he is
I don't
not,
like that. Why would Nerf make that?
it's not from Nerf, it's from a different brand, but like he found it online. I can't remember exactly what it's called now, but it they're like colored, but like the body style is similar, and it has an ejection port like a
Because
normal.
I'm just thinking of all like the kids that have been shot by police because they're like playing with a gun and it looks too
Correct.
real like a real gun.
Correct. So like it's I do believe in responsible, and I make that word as boldly as fucking possible. I believe in responsible and educated gun ownership. Period.
See, like I
I
believe like most liberals will say like you like not like I don't have a number obviously, but like a
right.
good number of liberals will say we don't want to get rid of guns. It's basically impossible to. We are
Right.
not Australia. We are not the
Right.
UK. Like we are just so entrenched in this idea. I feel like the Second Amendment has been interpreted wrong. Because well-regulated militia doesn't mean that Jerry down the street can own as many AK-47s as he wants or AR-15s as many as he wants.
Right.
But so and like I think my thing is like, okay, close the gun show loopholes to where like because even like people that have committed mass shootings have like got guns legally,
For sure.
even though
I won't
maybe they
argue
shouldn't
that.
have. Maybe they shouldn't have. Like like at the time that they got the guns, it was legal. Um,
Right.
so the but and I'm not saying making it impossible to get a gun. Like I said, it's just there's like a lot of middle ground. Like I said, I'm not like out like I don't want to ban guns because
Yeah.
that would never work in this country, and I wouldn't want that anyway. Like I feel like people should have the right to have a gun.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's necessarily like what you're saying is necessarily conservative. I think the ultra conservative thing is anyone should be able to buy a gun no matter what, no background checks, no cards, no nothing. Just buy a
Yeah,
gun
I don't
however you
agree.
fucking feel like it. That's the
Yeah, I don't
conservative
agree with that.
point.
I believe that I don't know exactly what that regulation would look like or how it would be practically applied, but I do think there needs to be some there needs to be some understanding that, like, my personal reason for why I believe people should be able to, if they've purchased their weapon legally, why they should be able to carry that weapon without all the fucking extra crazy ass red tape sometimes. I do believe in the concealed carry course, that learning how to use your firearm, because that is responsible fucking gun ownership. But, like, what I mean is, the reason why we should be able to carry our weapons is because there are people who obtain guns legally that use them for illegal things. You know what I mean? And there are people who obtain guns illegally and use them for illegal things. And the more people that are armed who don't ever intend to use that, which I do believe is the vast majority of people who don't ever intend to use that gun for anything illegal, would be a more rapid response in a situation where someone is using a firearm illegally. That's just my personal opinion. And you may not love that, but whoever's listening may not love that idea, but I'm telling you right now, if I was armed and I watched someone walk in and open fire with an AR-15 and I was not hit, you best believe I'm gonna aim and fire. Like, that, I would feel much safer knowing that I have a firearm to protect me and possibly end that shooting sooner than waiting for the fucking cops to show up. Gonna feel a lot better about that. That's just me
Mhm.
personally. I don't believe it should be required in schools for teachers to carry firearms. However, I think if that teacher has completed all their concealed carry courses and is a registered gun owner and has done all the things and abided by all the fucking laws, and they want to bring a firearm to school to protect their classroom because that's the fucking world we live in right now, I believe they should be able to do that. I believe that the school should not be able to keep that from fucking happening, because we've seen that they're putting metal detectors in schools, and I understand that, but the shit gets through there sometimes, and there's too many fucking kids, and no one can be responsible for that many humans at once and make sure everything went as it fucking should each time, each day. And the more things that we have available to protect ourselves instead of waiting on law enforcement to arrive, I feel safer that way. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I feel safer that way. Or here's an idea that I also have. Maybe don't put the responsibility on the teachers, but like you mentioned earlier, there are a sickening number of homeless or in danger of being homeless or coming home from duty and they don't know what to do with their life and they're depressed or whatever, these veterans who need a purpose once they're out of the military because their entire life has been spent in the fucking military, they would jump at the fucking opportunity to patrol a school, not brandishing a weapon, concealed, right? So, because you don't want to scare these kids, but they would love to be undercover security at a school. Can promise you that. I know a shit ton of them. I can promise you that. Give them a fucking job. Hire a couple of them per building. One per building is better than none per building. Like, give the schools a budget for that shit.
Yeah, because even um like Scott was talking about, like the metal detectors at our high school that they had. The but like teachers are kind of like spread thin. Like no one, like, well, I guess, like, they're spread thin trying to do that at the beginning of school because there's like certain rules that they have to, like, the students have to follow. Like before, like when we were in school, you could show up at school at like 7:30. You can go at lunch or go eat breakfast. You could just hang out in the halls, as early as 7 a.m. sometimes.
Right.
Can't do that anymore. You can't. You literally cannot, unless, I can't remember what I heard, but something about, like, you can't go. Like, you can go to the cafeteria, but like it's very limited how you go to the cafeteria. You either have to like wait in like the actual like lobby area of the school, like where metal detectors are. You can't go up to the classrooms. You can't go down the hallways. And I'm just like, that just baffles me. And I'm like, okay, why don't they just have a cop there, you know, um, not undercover, but in
Yeah.
plain clothes, like concealed firearm, because you don't want to, you want to be a kid and arrive at school and there's a guy
Right.
with a gun right there.
It's scary.
Like basically help him, like basically, and I even like, I granted I can't really make a suggestions to a high school, but it's also like my thought process was, why don't you just have, like, say a cop, his shift is like 7 to 4 or whatever. Just have him spend his first hour of his shift at the high school helping with metal detectors,
Right.
and then just go on with the rest of his shift. Like, I'm not saying
Right.
like you necessarily have to have someone there all day, which I'm not like disagreeing with your idea. It's more of like the whole metal detector thing. Like they were like
Right.
spread thin. Like teachers are spread thin, like in schools having to help with these metal detectors. And so it's like, why don't you just like a cop take an hour of their shift and help with that,
Right.
because they're more trained to do that. A teacher did not go to school to be a TSA agent, okay?
Right.
Looking through kids' backpacks, okay? Like,
Absolutely. That's not what they
so,
were there for. And
yeah,
maybe it might
so
be a good idea to like maybe we can throw Jordan in on maybe we can talk about firearms on an episode of its own and maybe we'll throw Jordan in on the conversation and he can give us the like educational things like what's actually required and all that stuff and really like talk about it and give his opinion because it's very similar to ours. And I feel like him helping to like put a healthy viewpoint of someone who is educated on firearms that has a viewpoint that is not ultra conservative, don't touch my fucking, you know what I mean? He's not gonna come on here and be like, if you don't like guns, you can fucking die or some shit. You know what I mean? Like he's not like that.
basically, let's just say like anytime the NRA announces, um, anytime some Republican politician or the NRA announces, "Oh, the evil liberals are gonna come for your guns," oh look, like magically gun ownership went up, which helps the
Mhm.
NRA. So it's
Right.
just the gun lobby. But yeah, that
I
could be
feel like
tabled for
he could
another
have a good
discussion.
yeah, I feel like we could have a really good discussion about that and he could better articulate why educated and informed and responsible gun ownership is necessary and the real life situations he's been placed in and why he does feel that
Mhm.
everyone should have the right to own a firearm but responsibly. Like you
Yeah,
should not own
yeah,
a
we can.
firearm until, right?
Yep,
There's a
we
big
can.
until there, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's
So I
something we
feel
can
like
discuss in more in depth in another
yeah.
episode.
So I feel like that's where you're going to find my more if you want to lean that way conservative ideals is I do feel I used to say I'm fiscally conservative and socially liberal. I can't even say that I'm fiscally conservative anymore because really what does that even mean?
And also, like,
I
I feel like
don't
the deficit goes up a lot during Republican terms, so they're not fiscally conservative either. So
exactly. So it's like I'm still deconstructing if you would say as our fundy community would like to say I'm stealing some
you're
terminology.
deconstructing politically instead of religiously.
I am. I am. I've been doing so for quite some time. And even my husband and I don't always see eye to eye on certain things, but um in general, I feel like we try to take a logical approach to things and I'm a very realistic person. I try to be. So it's like it may not be popular, but if it's realistic and it's like this is unfortunate, like you said, like we you don't you would never, like, try to get rid of guns altogether because it's not fucking realistic, it's not gonna happen, right? So, like, I try to stay in the realism part of it as much as possible and try to think as logically as I can when I'm making decisions about these kind of things.
It's
But I feel like
also, mhm.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say it's also like, basically, I guess like my whole viewpoint can be boiled down to just don't be a dick.
Yeah,
Don't be a dick. Just at
yeah,
least don't be a dick for the sake of being a dick. Like if you have to be a dick just to, like, make something happen, like you basically the whole tough love thing, like if you have to be a dick at certain points, fine. But just don't be a dick just for the sake of being a dick.
right. So I think actually we found out we're pretty close. We're actually way closer now even than we were a year ago, I feel like, on our ideals and what we believe in. I don't like this the way this current election is shaping up. I don't like any of our fucking choices. So like,
I don't even know, like, Trump is running, right? Even though he's been indicted and
yeah,
whatever, and he's been impeached
he's
twice or something, and
he's apparently kicking
he's in
ass
trial,
somehow.
apparently on trial and falling asleep in court and all that. And
Apparently he's kicking ass too. So
I know he can just get
and
away with anything. Like, it's the old rich white man syndrome. Just gets away with anything.
it's looking like it's probably going to be between him and Biden, from what I understand at the current
Yeah, I don't even know
juncture.
any of the other Republican nominees. Like, I know, like, I'll hear about them once they drop out, but I'll also be like, I didn't realize they were running.
Yeah, well, I can
So
fucking promise you, you don't want RFK Jr. So
yeah,
pray to Jesus or whatever God you believe in that ain't gonna fucking happen. He is a fucking nut. The man is insane.
yeah. To be honest, I don't really know much about him, but we don't have to get into that. But
Yeah, we don't have to get into that. I'm just saying he's
ow,
bananas. When I saw the fucking choices, I was like, anybody but that motherfucker. Like
I
anybody
think
but
that's who
him.
my dad. That's who my dad voted for, and this time, like I said, I don't know anything about him, but my dad is really chilled out. My mom is not. Um, my dad is really really chilled out in turn. Like, he voted for Trump the first time, and then he didn't the second time. Like, he even burned his MAGA hat. Like, he had a MAGA hat and he burned it on his grill. Like, he set it on
Wow.
fire. So
Well,
so
if this is
yeah.
the correct guy, I could be very wrong, but I'm 99.9% sure there's only one RFK Jr.
Yeah.
Um, he's one of them COVID deniers.
Oh, like COVID didn't happen type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Among
Or
other
it was a
strange things.
plandemic. It was a plandemic.
Yeah, among other strange things.
My dad is not the most, like I said, he said he voted for him, but like when he said that, I was just like, oh, okay, because like I said, I don't know anything about RFK Jr. Like, I will see his name in the news and whatever, but I don't like click on anything because I don't. He's one of those people, like, I don't care, like, I don't care about you. Um and so when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, but my dad, like, my dad isn't, like, he's not a COVID denier. He got his COVID vaccine and he wore a mask. He wasn't the typical angry old white guy. You know, he was he a grumpy old white guy, like, where he was like,
Right.
you ain't gonna make me wear a mask. Like, he complied. He wasn't a dick about it. So basically, that, like I said, that's what my viewpoint boils down to. Don't be a dick.
Don't be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's also a huge anti-vaxxer.
Mm. I like
Like
how people, like,
huge.
are, like, granted, people have, like it's always been, like, on the fringes that people were, like, anti-vax, like the people, like, causing, like, the people that were anti-vax were seen as, like, absolutely insane. Like, they're the ones that causing the measles outbreaks, like going to Disney World and we have the measles and giving everyone at Disney World the measles and all this other stuff. It's like the granola crunchy moms, like the whole, like, this
Right.
causes autism. And so that was, like, who the anti-vaxxers were. And now it's like, oh, because this pandemic is happening and they made this vaccine too quick for what I can understand is right. I'm going to be anti-vax now. And I'm like, okay, do you think this would have worked? Like, how do you think this would have happened during polio? Polio would still be a huge, like, it's still around. Like, polio's not completely eradicated, but like polio would still be around if people then thought the way people do now in terms
Right.
of vaccines. Like, smallpox would still be a huge thing. Like, if people thought that way, but because social media is in itself a plague, then that's why all these people, they think because they have an internet connection that they're educated about shit. No,
Right.
they're not.
Which is why I always preface everything I say politically with, I don't know my ass from a hole in the ground on a lot of this shit. I just have thoughts.
Mm-hmm. I have
And
opinions. They might not be. They're not educated opinions.
and if I'm wrong, please tell me. I'm
But it's
happy to
also
learn.
like, but it's also
It's
like
just difficult for me to learn about
my
these things.
like, even if I have an opinion that's uneducated, I try to have it to be an opinion that doesn't, if, like, my opinion doesn't affect how other people live.
Right.
Like, if basically, like, say, like, people that are against marriage equality. Okay, your opinion is you don't want it to happen, for example, because the Bible says this thing. It's like,
Right.
okay, you you have this opinion, but having this opinion and voting against it based on that opinion does affect people. Like,
Right.
so if basically, if I'm gonna have an educated opinion about something, I'm gonna try to make sure it's about something that doesn't negatively affect other people.
Right.
Like I said, their whole rights, their livelihood, whatever. So that's. But I think we've pretty much covered
Yeah.
the basics.
I do just want to say one thing. I went straight to like, here's my conservative points because I feel like, or conservative-ish points because I feel like you definitely said pretty much everything I also agree with. But I do want to make it very clear. I am 100% on board with LGBTQIA plus community. Like, you will have no issues for me on that end. I am all for marriage equality, all for this. Like, I want to make that explicitly clear because I like didn't respond to that, so I don't want anyone to be like, "What?" You know, like, does she not? Does she not like us? I am supportive of, and even though I sometimes fail at remembering someone's pronouns because it's kind of conditioned in my brain to use just he and she. I am always respectful and apologize if I do, use incorrect pronouns. I'm trying actively learning and making it a point to try not to use binary language when I'm referring to someone if I've not expressly heard them tell me what their pronouns are.
And also, like,
Um,
they like people conservatives like to say like the whole, well, they is like a plural thing. No, they has been used as a singular pronoun since I think the 1300s. So
right,
shut the fuck up. Your opinion is
right.
uneducated. So
And even
um
if it is, who fucking cares? Like, it
and
doesn't matter.
also like why does it matter? Like, yeah, the whole, like I said, this is gonna be another topic we can get into, but like
Yeah,
this doesn't matter in the sense of, okay, like say you found someone's wallet, like, oh, I found their wallet. Like, I'm going to try to find them. Like
yeah,
I need to let them know, like, basically, because if you don't know the gender of the person, and also the whole like, well, if you tell me your pronouns, I don't fucking care, that sort of logic baffles me. It's like, oh, if you tell
right.
me your pronouns are they them, I'm gonna purposely be a dick and like, see, I said
Yeah,
no,
it's
be a
just
dick. And so, like,
it's
it to
stupid.
me, it's like, okay, and I never had a conservative reply back to my point of, okay, if you refuse to use someone's pronouns that they ask you, or like say they change their name, and you refuse just to be a dick, okay, so do you call John Wayne, Marilyn Morrison, and Marilyn Monroe Norma Jean Baker? Do you call them by their original names because that's the names they were born with? No, you don't.
No.
You call them the names they chose. So why
Mhm.
can you do it for them, but you can't do it for someone that is in your face and asking you like, "Hey, can you just call me by this other name?" It's like someone like your name being Nicole. It's like you going up to someone, "Oh, my name's Nicole, but you can call me Nikki." Okay, Nicole. Like, just
Right.
being an absolute dick about it, just to be a dick about it, you know? It's like, well,
Right.
that's not the
It's
name
like,
your
that's
mom gave
fine
you.
that you prefer to be called Nikki, but I'm still gonna call you Nicole. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
and that's happened to me most of my life, actually. So it's like, um, not comparing that to
Mhm.
being, dead
It's
named
just an
or anything,
example.
but yeah, it's just an example. Um, I just definitely wanted to clarify, like, I will fight a bitch over them people. Like, I love those people. They're some of the best humans in the world. They live their authentic selves, and I take so much inspiration from that community. So, please keep being you. We love you. We need you in this world, and you will always be safe here with us. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the political how what does it say, how it
Breakdown.
started and how it's going?
Yeah,
Yeah.
political breakdown. And like I
Yeah.
said,
So,
we can get more in depth about certain topics. Like, we can turn each of the things we talked about into like an hour-long episode
oh, for
because,
sure.
like I said, not we won't be completely educated because, like I said, I tend to like read and watch bits and pieces of things, but I don't necessarily retain like all the details about certain things.
Right.
That's why I say, I was like, oh, it was about 8 years ago, or it was about this, and so like that's me. Like I said, I'm not here to be a political commentator. I'm not here to be.
No.
I'm not Stephen Colbert. I'm not Jon Stewart. I'm not like Sean Hannity. Okay, like I'm not any of these people.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Okay. Well, we should probably hit the Jeremy. If you made it this far, thank you. We love you. We know it was kind of rambling all over the place, but that was kind of the point of today's episode. Again, if you're watching, sorry I'm not in my normal setup. Hopefully next week I shall be feeling better. At the time of recording, today is actually the 16th of May. And on Monday, the 20th, I will finally have my neurology appointment that I've been waiting for weeks. So hopefully I will have more answers.
Which is better
about
than
my
months, because
condition.
originally it was September.
Yeah, originally it was fucking September. So, yeah, no, July. It was July for neurology. September is genetics.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so hopefully, by the time you guys hear this, I'll be able to have updated you as to what's going on. But thanks for sticking around. We're gonna let you go now, though, if you don't want to hang out for Jeremy. And I don't know. I'm debating if I want to share what I sent you or not.
That's up to you. You can choose it after the Jeremy or not.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, we're gonna hit the Jeremy. We love you. We'll see you next week if you're leaving us. If not, here comes the Jeremy. I say this every week, but I've yet to update that fucking intro. So yeah. Hi.
Hi.
We're on the other side. We made it.
Jinx.
We made it, folks. Masks can come off now. Can take our podcaster masks off. I'm very glad you're reading, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm very glad you're reading because
I mean, I was so short. Like I was like, I need a proofread still, and I looked. I'm like, oh, it's like 2 pages. That's fine.
Yeah, no, it had to be. Like I said, flare-up day, cognitive functioning.
It's fine.
Here.
It's completely fine. I was like, oh, this is like a filler because I read it. I'm like, okay, it's Freya talking, and then we're done. And
did
then
you see my note?
Yes, I did. I still listen. But I did. I didn't really have anything really to add.
That's okay. I just left you a note so you knew why it abruptly ended.
Yeah, it's fine. So this is definitely a segue filler episode, which is fine. We had an intense last couple episodes, so last couple of.
I figured it was time for a filler. I needed it. I think the story needed a breather. Just a little. It's kind of a recap almost too, which is nice. It's like you kind of understand a little bit more of what fucking happened over the last 3 episodes that we've discussed this current story arc, or character arc, or whatever you want to call it. So, I think we should probably just get into it. Aminder, go for it.
Okay, here we go. Previously on The Chronicles of Jeremy, Queen Violet managed to escape her chambers that her conniving son locked her in during the Rite of Valor. Rushing up to the royal box of the arena, she confronted Vaughn. After he revealed that the murder of his sister was all a part of his plan to end the rite, Queen Violet was sickened. Through her pain, she granted her son's wish of ending the rite and ordered the guard to take him away, condemning her child to a life of confinement with no recourse. Just as Queen Violet thought all was lost and in the throes of despair, Freya approached her with Velvet and Jeremy in tow. Was this some cruel joke or another of Vaughn's manipulation tactics? Could it really be that they survived? Find out on this week's episodes of The Chronicles of Jeremy. Queen Violet was in shock. Before her stood her daughter and Jeremy. How could this be? An entire arena's worth of people watched as they were buried under tons of rubble just a few moments before. What manner of deception did you conjure? Are you working for Vaughn as well? I've endured enough. Please, don't torture me further, Queen Violet pleaded with Freya. Mother, I assure you, I'm as real as the pain you feel now, Velvet assured her as she approached her mother. She knelt down next to her, pulling her mother into an embrace. At that moment, Queen Violet knew this truly was her daughter and visibly relaxed, hugging Velvet in return. How did you both survive that terrible ordeal? Queen Violet questioned. It's probably best if we let Freya explain this part, Velvet answered, turning towards the fox. Your Highness, my name is Freya. I am a mage of the pirate guild known as the Liberators. My colleagues and I are travelers, highly skilled crafters and traders from all corners of the earth. We had just docked our ship, and when we made our way to the local pub, your son approached us. He hired us to temporarily detain some of his citizens that he claimed would bring harm to those in attendance at the arena. I could feel his deceit from the start, but our wise leaders felt we needed to accept this mission. After informing them what I sensed, we immediately devised an exit strategy should things go south. Upon learning that one of our own was amongst the targets, we knew we had to take matters into our own hands. We carried out the plan as Vaughn intended, but he made an additional request we could not comply with. He wanted Jeremy to be a part of the third trial. It was indeed an attempt to kill not only Jeremy, but Velvet as well. I instructed my colleagues to get our detainees out of the village unseen, then distracted the court mage with my shapeshifting. With him out of the way, I met Velvet in the arena's holding area to warn her of her brother's treacherous plan before the third trial began. I sent her off to meet the others outside the north gate, cloaked, so no one would recognize her. The scene that unfolded in the arena was an illusion. The goal was to make Vaughn believe he had succeeded, while also allowing Velvet and Jeremy to remain together. What happened after is your daughter's story to tell. To be continued. Expedition Fairy to the rescue!
Yay!
Yay!
So I decided to cut it off there because I'll just tell you because we're on the backside of Jeremy. The original plan was to just have Freya do the illusion and then escape.
Mm-hmm.
And then not tell her mother and like have everyone think she's dead, right? And just disappear into the woods. Well, then it sort of took a different turn in my brain, and we decided to end up having Queen Violet confront Vaughn, put him in jail. So now it's like, do I want to do the whole we have to leave this place forever kind of thing?
Or at least for a while.
Or, and like keep up with the illusion because everyone thinks I'm dead?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we, hold like a town, like send a town crier out and tell everyone what Vaughn did and explain that I'm not dead, and then like go through a positive story arc because it's been a lot of drama. So I'm like trying to figure out, is it time to like end the drama and go back to the lighthearted funny shit, which I feel like is probably the best recourse. Or do we just do the dramatic shit where it's like, I must leave you forever, mother?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? We can discuss it another time if you want, but I just feel like it's probably time for some positivity in
Yeah,
the story arc.
I think it'd be awesome if they like Velvet and Jeremy left to go hang out with Liberators for a while. Like, I think that'd be fun. Like, they just were like, they're like, basically, like, this is just brainstorming. Like, Velvet tells her mom, like, Violet be like, oh, we could, be together. It's been so long, like, we'll finally have peace. And Velvet be like, oh, like, I do want that, but I think I should I should go off on my own for a while. Basically, like, do this whole thing where basically become part of a pirate guild.
Okay.
And for a while, and they can just go on adventures, and they can travel the world, or
like take the heat off of her for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. Okay.
And if Velvet and Jeremy get married, the pirate captain can marry them because pirate captains can do that.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
That means Ray and Micah would be officiating the wedding.
Yeah.
Because they're the co-leaders.
Yeah, the co-captains. Captains of a ship can marry someone. Oh, idea?
Okay. Ray and Micah, weigh in on this. Do you want to marry Jeremy and Velvet? Will this be the first ever, probably not the first ever time there'll be two officiants, because Scott's wedding had two officiants, but like,
yeah.
Well, this will be a double officiant wedding.
And Scott's officiants were also in a relationship together. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's Scott's Wedding 2.0. We love it.
Hopefully, I won't cry this time.
You might.
I might.
But we have to have Finnegan ruin it somehow.
Finnegan has to be the flower boy, okay?
And he like eats them all
trips or
before he walks
something.
down the
Yeah.
aisle or some shit.
Yeah, he likes munching on them or something. I don't know. Or he's the ring bearer or whatever. I don't know. He loses the rings.
Oh my god, that's funny. And like if you like when you're watching back, if you see me making a bunch of faces, I'm not making faces at Amanda. It's just my lip keeps getting caught on my brackets because I'm still not used to having something between my lip and
Yeah, she literally
my
got
teeth.
braces yesterday, so
Yesterday. This is day 2 of braces,
and
so like I'm still getting used to this.
and I offered to her, I said, "Oh, we can record this weekend if you want. If you're like as I said, if your mouth hurts too much." So
Yeah. My mouth actually doesn't hurt. It's like it's not I wouldn't even say it's like uncomfortable. It's just like I can
you're
feel
aware that they're
things.
there. You're aware
Yeah,
that
I'm
they're
aware that
there.
they're there at this point, but like
It's like pressure.
tomorrow it's probably gonna hurt.
Yeah, I know when they tighten them, that's when it starts
Yeah.
becoming more uncomfortable because they have to put a lot of pressure on your
Yeah.
bones, your mouth bones.
Yeah, my mouth bones. They're trying to rotate. Like there's a couple of teeth that are on the bottom that are like turned the wrong way, so like trying to pull them and rotate them. And then this I'm actually missing like see how these are actually my canines.
Mhm.
I'm missing my laterals.
Hmm.
So the tooth next to your
I never noticed that.
2 front teeth, you're supposed to have a tooth in between your front tooth and your canine tooth,
Yeah,
and
because I have
I
that.
was born without them.
Hmm.
So, um, these are actually my canines. They're just gonna
Oh,
bring them forward.
so you're like
So,
you're like the vampires in True Blood. They put their canines like on the side of their front teeth.
yeah.
They look weird. They were closer to the middle of the teeth than regular vampires.
Mhm.
So you're like True Blood vampire.
I'm a true blood vampire. My pointy teeth are right next to my 2 front teeth. So
Mhm.
so yeah.
That must be like an
Um,
evolutionary thing. I don't know. Like some ancestor like I can tear meat easier with this way. I don't
right.
know.
Well, my dad doesn't have them either, so I got it from him.
Hmm. Well,
So,
that's all the rambling, I guess.
yep, that's it.
Julie, do the thing!
I'm afraid there are no more things to do.
We need to split that now and just have Julie saying, "I'm afraid there are no more things to do," and then have him for the "Julie, do the thing." Oh, and I don't currently have any brain pain, but I have to show him this one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's a lot, like, lower in volume, and I can't figure out why that is. I even tried adjusting it in Clipchamp, and it won't go higher than that, but it's fine. When I say I have a Waterboy mom headache, that's what I mean. Waterboy is, if you don't know, is a movie with Adam Sandler. It's one of my favorite fucking movies ever. And she she gets the brain pain, and he goes, every time she gets a headache, she goes, "Ow!" She goes, "It's the brain pain, coach." So that's why I would go, "Oh my god, I have a Waterboy mom headache." That's what I mean. So now we have that little video clip for y'all as a little treat. But that's it. I'm afraid there are no more things to do.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go.
We've thought all the thoughts. We said all the things.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna disassemble my bedside recording station here
Sounds
and
good.
maybe eat a little bit more because I think I haven't eaten much. I had a smoothie this morning. I had a large fry from McDonald's for lunch and a small helping of macaroni and cheese because I can't chew right now. It hurts. After the french fries, my mouth hurt real bad. And I wasn't even really chewing those much. And the noodles I just kind of squish around.
And McDonald's fries
So,
aren't really crispy, so
yeah, I know. And so like they're soft enough that I could kind of mush them up a little and like chew with my back teeth, but it still hurts to chew. So I like mush the noodles up and swallow.
you're like a baby bird. You're like a baby
I
bird.
am. I am. It's so bad. I need to get me some mashed taters. I love me some
So
good
that
old mashed taters.
get the Bob Evans mashed taters.
Oh my god, yes, girl. I'm gonna have to get me them tomorrow. Now I want them. Put some ranch and some A1 sauce over them bitches.
A little bit of
Yes.
butter. Well, you can't have butter.
I can too.
Maybe.
I can have the fake butter.
That's true. That's sad
Plant-based
butter
butter.
though.
Fine. Anyway, we're gonna go now.
Okay. Yeah, everyone's like,
oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. That was actually
no,
an
that was me.
accident.
That was me. I clicked it.
Oh, I was like, oh shit, did I do that? Because I was like mousing over to like.
Yeah, I
go
would say
up towards this.
everyone in the audience is like, yes, they're finally gonna shut the fuck up.
Oh my god, finally these bitches can learn to be quiet. One of these days, I would like to try an episode where I don't cuss. I don't know that I'll do it. Or that I'll make it, but I think it would be funny. To see me struggle and
what's
strain.
funny is like you can't, it's not necessarily like just not saying cuss words, like not using, what do they call it, like sentence enhancers, like like saying, and it's not like saying like from the Mad, oh my god, words, not like saying from the Mad Lib, are you fucking kidding me, and just saying like, are you kidding me, but saying like, are you flippity jibbity kidding me, or something like that,
Right.
like just saying
Mother
random ass
instead of
words.
motherfucker, you could say mother heckin' Fred.
Yeah.
Or something, some shit like that, or heckin' you heckin' dummy or some shit, or like conflab it or something. I don't know, something stupid.
You freaking corn nugget. Like,
you lint liquor.
Yeah. Who you call a cootie queen, you
llama
lint
lifter.
Yeah.
You
Nerf
llama
herder.
lifter.
You scruffy nerf herder. That's from Star Wars.
God. Okay, yeah, that'll be fun. Where I have to switch all my profanity to something stupid like that. So, all right, bye. We gotta
Bye.
go. Okay, bye. Oh shit, we need our outro first, don't we? I almost hit
Maybe.
end recording without playing the fucking outro. Okay, now bye.